Welcome to the sun-drenched tropical paradise of Island Delfino. That is from a comment over on Spotify. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Nintendo News Daily. I'm your host, N64 Josh. This time with audio, because, we just literally tried this. And, well, let's just say I've been making music and I might have had my microphone plugged into a different interface. So when I was trying to reset everything, yeah, it was actually it was user error, not technical difficulty. So we're live. Here we go. I want to say what's up. Nady Nay is here. Steak is here. Michael, what is going on? Sunshine, hello, hello, hello. You thought it was charades? Yeah. Yeah, my bad. My bad, everybody. Do forgive me. So Cryptic is here. What's happening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, we're gonna try this time spot at 8 p.m. Eastern for a little bit. I think it's a little bit easier for West Coasters to get in here than at 6 a.m. and it's not super late for East Coasters. So we're gonna give this a go for a little bit here. And so we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for being here, for hanging out. Um, Nate said I should just take the old video and make it my own limp sync video. Yes, yes. Brandon is also here. Welcome on in. So good to see you. Let's see. I got a little ahead of myself here and forgot to. Oh wait, no, this is working. Hang on. Look at that. We're set up pretty much. Let's see. Just going to adjust a little bit. Perfect. All right. Well, let's jump into the news, shall we? First up, Nintendo producer Kensuke Tanabe has seemingly confirmed his retirement, with Metroid Prime 4 being his final game. So we're on an article from Nintendo Life here, and it says Kensuke Tanabe, veteran producer at Nintendo who became known for his work on the Metroid Prime series, has reportedly announced his retirement. As covered by VGC, Tanabe's announcement comes via an interview with the Japanese magazine Nintendo Dream, which has been uploaded online by user Weibo. Tanabe states that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was to be his final game at the company. And his protege producer, Risa Tabata, succeeding him, should another Prime game be made in the future. So they, Cryptic's already saying no, so no more Prime. Uh, hang tight. Don't lose all hope yet. Tabata's first game with Nintendo was Metroid Prime on GameCube. She has since worked as an assistant producer on titles such as Donkey Kong Country Returns, Paper Mario Color Splash, and The Thousand Year Door on Switch. As for Tanabe, he reportedly states in an interview that he wanted to create a Metroid title focused on Samus and Sylux, since dropping subtle hints in Prime 3 Corruption and Federation Force. Realizing that Prime 4 might be his last shot to do this, he decided to make uh, it in the first entry in the Sylux saga. Okay. All right. So here's his quote from the interview. Says, I envision Sylux as a dark, resentful villain who resorts to underhanded tactics. After this game, Samus would realize that a direct confrontation with him would is inevitable. She must defeat him completely. That's why the final showdown between Sylux and Samus remains unfinished. However, completing this game took far longer than anticipated. Furthermore, I have confirmed that I will no longer be involved in the production of the series moving forward. Whether a sequel will be made is still uncertain, but I certainly hope that one day Miss Tabata and Retro Studios will be able to tell this story completely and bring it to a close. So, uh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that it's not. It's that we'll be getting more. All right, fingers crossed. So I see Aaron is here. Welcome on in. Cryptic said the ending bummed me out because it made me wanting more. Of course, of course. And yeah. So Tanabe leaves a remarkable legacy at Nintendo. His first game with the company was Super Mario Bros. 2 in 1987, during which he served as director. Since then, he's transitioned into one of the most prominent producers at the company, working on everything from Luigi's Mansion to WarioWare and beyond. And he will certainly be missed. No, no doubt there. Wow, Nate just said, "Thanks a lot, Devin." Devin had nothing to do with this. Oh my goodness, Nate bringing all the jokes. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Well, um, unfortunately, this is not a laughing matter. Ubisoft cancels 6 games in major organization restructure. And it's also investing heavily in player-facing generative AI. Ubisoft has announced major organizational restructure. This is according to Nintendo Life to refocus its initiatives and improve efficiency. In a press release, the company confirmed that it plans to close several studios and continues to restructure throughout the group in order to achieve its goals. It has reconfirmed the closure of its Halifax studio, also with the restructuring of Abu Dhabi, Red Linux, and Massive. It will also reinforce a working structure of 5 days in office environments, which will be supported by yearly allowances to work from home. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, naturally, the news of studio closures also means that several games, 6 to be precise, have been discontinued. This includes Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, along with 3 brand new IPs and a mobile game. Yeah, we know that's a total of 5, so who knows what the 6th is. So apparently they're not even saying what the 6th game is there. On the flip side, 7 unspecified titles will be granted additional development time to ensure that they meet the quality standards set by Ubisoft. One of these games, originally scheduled to launch in fiscal year 2026, has been pushed to fiscal year 2027. Ubisoft will primarily focus on open world games and games as a service titles, which it says will be supported by targeted investments, deeper specializations, and cutting edge technology, including accelerated investments behind player facing generative AI. The article finishes that sentence with "Good Lord." So, taking a look at the chat here, Steak said, wouldn't have lost a bunch of money on those NFTs nobody wanted in games. I see James is here. Welcome on in. Cryptic says, I don't understand. We can get great games like Rayman Legends, Child of Light, and Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and Ubisoft is like, nope, we need more money. Now the remake of a classic franchise is canceled. They don't listen to their fans. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Everything. Eh, I don't know about you guys, but in to me it feels like the writing is on the walls somewhat. Like we heard that November was the worst month in gaming sales since like 1995. And so I don't know if it's people falling off of gaming, if it's the fact that more people are just playing like the games they're playing are games like Fortnite and, free to play stuff. But I don't know that chasing those models is always the best. Look at Sony and look at the number of canceled games or uh, games that have failed. And so it's just it's kind of interesting just watching like essentially the cream rise to the top because it's not I mean like Cryptic gave a list of solid games, solid IP. Yet it, you know, they're still closing the doors on a lot of these studios. Cryptic said feels like they are ramping up to be sold. I think I feel like we reported on something uh a few like a couple months ago about them like even mentioning that they were wanting to get picked up by somebody, or I don't know if, like, maybe Netflix was in the conversation. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like there was something in the news a while back, or maybe just the fact that they were struggling so bad, um, and things just aren't just weren't looking good. So it I feel like if you're Nintendo, you've got those brand muscles right now and the IP with Zelda, Mario, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash. You're still in pretty good shape pending what how the future plays out with Switch 2. Sony, I think, is fine with their IP and, albeit super few and far between, which is unfortunate. And then Xbox's IP is okay only because it's going everywhere, and it's from, you know, you're talking about, like, Activision, Bethesda, right? There's some there's some heavy hitters there. If your games aren't making those sales and aren't hitting those numbers, what other option do they have? And, like, you know, even the article here has a picture of Assassin's Creed. I couldn't tell you the last Assassin's Creed I had any interest in. I couldn't really, like, the last game I bought from that was Ubisoft was Star Wars Outlaws, right? I played it at PAX. I was like, "This is pretty cool. I'll check it out here on Switch," when it was on sale. And, and it's not even that the games are bad, it's just in the fight for attention when it comes to gaming, I have to pick and choose, and Ubisoft games are typically not at the top of my the top of my list. It doesn't make the games bad, it's just I would rather be playing if for me, I'd rather be playing something first party Nintendo or, uh, or maybe some of these indies that I've picked up recently, that kinda stuff. So it's like and I think I know some of you can attest to this, we don't really live in the a time with gaming where it's just like, I'm just gonna nonchalantly keep buying everything that comes my way. You know, with games being being $70 now and trying to decide which games I wanna have on my system, what do I wanna remove. It's I'm being more picky and choosy, and I know other people are as well, so I see Boomini is here, welcome on in. Good to see you. Cryptic says, and don't get me wrong, their big AAA titles like Star Wars Outlaws and AC, etcetera, are great games. It's just also nice to get smaller budget games. Yeah, no question. And I mean, I I feel like Rainbow Six Siege has gotta be like, that game's been going forever, so they have that's technically one of their games as a service games that's doing well. I think The Division has another game coming out if I from what I've been seeing, but Division to me, like, it lives in that limbo land, like Destiny kind of, where it's like it has a bit of an identity crisis where you're seeing games like Ark Survivors and stuff, I believe that's what it's called. I feel like The Division would thrive as a game that's a bit more like that. So, versus like, is it PvE? Is it PvP? You know, and where I struggled with like The Division, I'm like, why am I seeing numbers on these human players that I'm shooting with actual guns? Like that was also that was also very like it just was very strange to me. Like very strange to me. Like these aren't monsters. This isn't an RPG. Why is this dude able to take so many like, why is he a bullet sponge? You know, what kinda armors he got on? Like, I don't know, it just it kinda pulled me out of the overall experience, so, I've had great time with classic Ubisoft games, Splinter Cell, uh, Ghost Recon, it were fantastic back in the day on the 360, like, loved those games, you know, made, some great friends through Rainbow Six 3 back on the original Xbox, like So they've had great stuff through the years, but I feel like they have struggled in more areas, um, than they've really won in, which is unfortunate. Even with their second game of Mario plus Rabbids, I just feel like it came out at the wrong time, and, um, and so I, um it maybe it would have been better as a Switch 2 title, which I think they were even told by Nintendo to wait. So, Cryptic's asking, so The Division's one of those canceled games? Does it go into detail? I know they were working on a third entry. So here's kind of a list. Starting from April, Ubisoft's operating model will center around 5 creative houses, each of which will be wholly responsible for the games it creates, including development and marketing. Each house will focus on specific genres, and general outline looks like this. Uh CH1, Flagship, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six. CH2, Shooters, Competitive Titles, The Division, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. Um, Channel 3, I guess maybe we'll go with, or CH3, live service games, For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, Skull and Bones. CH4, Narrative Adventures, Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, Beyond Good and Evil. CH5, Family Friendly Games, Just Dance, Idle Miner Tycoon, Ketchup, Hungry Shark, Invincible, Guarding the Globe, Uno, Hasbro. So so there's there's kind of the list of where things are going. They're not, it doesn't give clear. I feel like there was just recently news of The Division and that it's still going, just that that somebody stepped down just a day or 2 ago. So, if I'm remembering correctly, but I believe that is also, isn't The Division the Massive Crew? So maybe that's getting canned also. We'll just have to wait and see. We don't know what that 6th game is, that was mentioned. So, but I feel like The Division is one of their more successful, IP. So, fingers crossed it's still going, because I know there's a fan base for it. It just wasn't, it wasn't a game for me that I could play a long time. So, well, we got some roundup for the reviews of, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on Switch 2. We can kinda just take a quick peek through here. It's looking like Nintendo Life gave it a 9 out of 10. It says, yes, there are caveats like 30 FPS, softer screen resolution, some fuzzy textures, but Square Enix has clearly put the time and effort in here to ensure the best possible result, with the episode intermission DLC included as standard too. This might be the definitive way to play Remake on the go. CG Magazine gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It says if you've been holding off from playing Final Fantasy VII Remake all this time because you don't have a PS5 or gaming PC, the Switch 2 port is practically a must play. Love that. RP Gamer gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So there's a huge amount to enjoy about the game, be it the exciting combat, impressive presentation, highly, endearing cast, fascinating, adjustments to the original tale, or detailed realization of Midgar. Comic Book gave it a 4.5. Looks like Vooks gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I'm gonna be clear there. Same with Comic Book, that's out of 5. Nintendo Insider, 8 out of 10. And so it looks like the Switch 2 version is sitting at a Metacritic score of 90 based on 24 reviews as of right now. So, just a little clarity here. Steak said The Division 3 in New York, or, The Division 3 in New Game Plus showcased the other week. So it should be all right, I would assume. I would assume so. Cryptic says the time and effort stands out to me. That's all I need devs to do. Take the time to learn the console and push as much as you can out of it. Very happy with the Final Fantasy VII results and proof triple A work. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so speaking of, we're going to stick with the little bit of Final Fantasy news here. Final Fantasy VII, Digital Foundry has, of course, put it through the test as they do, and you can check out their video on YouTube, and it says, um, so for example, environmental textures are a lot closer to that of PS5, with things like the infamous doors in Sector 7 slums looking a lot more detailed when compared to the game's original release on PS4. Ground textures are similarly improved, and sign readability is a lot better. It's not a match everywhere, though, with some textures leaning closer to PS4. This is the same for shadows and character pop in 2, which are noted to be much closer to PS4 than PS5. In terms of lighting, however, Square Enix strive to emulate PS5 integrated release, and it makes for an incredibly handsome game on the Switch too. The performance is solid in docked and handheld modes, with very minor dips in handheld mode when panning the camera around areas such as Aerith's house. Otherwise, you're looking at a stable 30 FPS throughout. Resolution is 1080p in docked mode, though it is noted that clarity is again a step up from the PS4. So if this is your only option to play, or like they said, you don't have the PS5, you don't have a PC, and or maybe you just want to be able to take this game on the go, you're looking at a 39.99 price tag. There is a demo available if you want to check that out as well. So, but some great stuff there. I'm excited to jump into. I'm excited to jump into this one all the way. Like the e every time I've been able to play this game, I'm just like, "Yo, is it time? Is it time? I'm ready. I'm ready." So, I'm looking forward to it for sure, and, and I feel like it's gonna be, from my understanding, it's not super long, so it'll probably fit, like, something I can kinda just chip away at, and it won't take me super long to finish either, so I'm looking forward to this one a lot, a lot. So, rumor, we were talking about Xbox earlier. Bethesda is reportedly reviving 2 more Fallout games. It says just don't expect them anytime soon. So we this it's basically got an update, right? Like we talked about this um a while ago, where Jez Corden over at Windows Central claimed that Fallout 3 and New Vegas would have eventually received the same treatment as Elder Scrolls Oblivion. He says, I'm told that the Steam listing for Fallout 3 New Vegas are showing some activity due to updates for localization versions of existing games, and aren't to do with any impending shadow drop for Fallout 3 or New Vegas remakes or remasters. Indeed, I'm told Fallout 3 and New Vegas remakes aren't exactly imminent, and you shouldn't expect them in the near future. I'm trying to lock down more detailed timing on when we should see them appear, but the impression I'm getting is that we'll see Fallout 3 remastered before New Vegas. So there you go. Bit of an update here. This originally was from January 8th, is when we got this rumor, this rumor from Jez. So, well, this was the unexpected. This happened last night, like while we were wrapping up the show. I literally like hit stop recording, and then got a message. Like I saw the tweet pop up from Nintendo. Johnny Bose posted in Discord, like, what is this? I want 3D Mario. His exact words. His exact words, by the way. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD gets a free Switch 2 update and adds Dixie Kong. So Nintendo can do this all they want. Like Brothership, Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, a game that I would really love to see this on, that you guys will probably, it'll be uh filed away in the same category as this one, as a bit odd, but Princess Peach Showtime. That game has had, like, it stutters a bit here and there. I would love to see that game get one of those free updates, just so it can run a bit smoother. And, I know, like, Game Explain, Andre, he jumped into this because they were, talking about, like, Donkey Kong's fur and how it was kind of missing, and what was going on there. And there were, some different, like, some different graphical things happening, and this has cleared up, quite a bit. It's cleared up quite a bit. The game is looking better. They've I made a little joke in my I did a short about this, and I said, This game, there's a turbo mode, so this game's getting 200cc before Mario Kart World, and the turbo mode it's called Turbo Attack, and you're just running through and playing as fast as you can. So that's honestly pretty cool. I'm very curious on like exactly like if are we gonna can we track our times or what's happening there? So I need to jump in. Uh, Cryptic says Xenoblade. Yes, yes, Xenoblade is it needs to be on that list. I think all of the Fire Emblem games as well would be fantastic. So Cryptic says I need structure to these game updates. Why are we getting leaks of hidden 4K assets and 60 FPS, but the stuff that doesn't get leaked gets the update? Yeah, and I mean, we're definitely looking at Xenoblade, right? Like there was some 4K assets, I believe, in the code of uh, Xenoblade X, right? Xenoblade Chronicles X. So Nate says Xeno probably takes a lot more work potentially. Yeah, and I think a lot of us because of those leaks in the that the data miners found that I think we just assumed like, oh, just press the button and it goes live. We're good to go. But maybe they did some work ahead of time, but they're still trying uh to do a bit more. I mean, who knows? Maybe they go the direction of doing like a Xenoblade collection that's all switched to, but that seems like it would be a massive file if it was, I, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, there's like no rhyme or reason to it, and I think that's why it's so unexpected. Like I don't even know is Tropical Freeze on that list? Like, if you guys know just off the top of your head, like I'm like I don't know I don't know that it is. Cryptic said, "Just hit copy and paste this content into Mario Kart World." Right. Exactly that. It's just that easy. So here's a few of the things that are coming with the update. You can now play as Dixie Kong. Her action while jumping is different from Diddy Kong's jumps. When playing alone, as you grab a barrel, you can switch between either Diddy Kong or Dixie Kong as the character that appears. When playing with two people, player two can switch between Diddy or Dixie Kong by pressing the L stick in the case of the Joy-Con 2 or Joy-Con controllers um, on the world map. A turbo attack mode where you race through stages at high speed has been added. If you clear the course, it will appear at the same time as the time attack mode, which is cool. If you clear it within the time limit, you will require turbo medal. That's also very cool. Now supports Brazilian Portuguese language. You can switch the language in the system settings. Several other issues have been addressed, and image quality enhancements have been made to improve the gameplay experience. The following updates have been made when playing on Switch 2. Now supports Game Share, local user. You can select Game Share from two player in the start screen or the menu of the world map. Optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high resolution TVs for improved image quality, and the loading time is shorter. And this was free. This was free. There was not the $5 upgrade like they did with Animal Crossing. It was just it was just free. Here we go. And I mean, it seems like they kind of treated it like in a bit of an event. The posting it on X, doing a whole YouTube video about it, like, and they added some cool stuff. So this could be a trend that they could keep on doing, and I don't think anybody would be bothered by it. So, Cryptic says, so this update adds Dixie, which was from Tropical Freeze. I wonder if Cranky will be added. I'm thinking Kitty Kong might be added for you and Joey. I know Joey would be excited about that one. So we'll have to wait and see. Nate says, thank you for the free update to a $60 20-year-old game. Generous. I mean, yeah, yeah. If they had, if that, it honestly would have been wild if they had charged. I don't know who would have been buying with that amount of content. So, but it's just like, it's just so out of left field. It is so out of left field. This one. I mean, I'm here for it. The update, updates are great, but it's just the like, was this one easy to do? Is that why they chose this one? Was like was this game like, did they dumb it down to run on Switch 1 prior to, because if we've talked about like those possible internal delays uh of the Switch 2 that we never heard about. Like, so maybe that's why we're seeing it now, but was it not complete? I don't know. Was that why it looked the way it did on Switch 1? It's just an interesting, it's all very interesting to me on what's happening there. Game share is cool. Like, that's a great feature, especially if you play handheld, or even if you're on your TV and you wanna send it to somebody else's Switch, locally. That's a great feature. So, great feature. So, um, Goto 10 Gaming says, "And they charge how much for this Wii game?" Right? Do we know how many Cryptic said, "Do we know how many copies of this remaster sold?" I'm not sure. I'm not sure it made many lists, so, maybe it'll, bump up in the, eShop after this update, so we'll just have to wait and see. Well, this is not the news we like to talk about, but it's, just the times we live in right now. Switch 2 predicted to follow in PlayStation and Xbox footsteps this year with a global price hike. Research from Nico Partners reveals that it could drive an increase. So, over the past year, both PlayStation 5 and Series X have been hit with price increases. It's inevitably led to questions about the Switch 2 getting the price hike in the future. Although there's been no official announcement from Nintendo about price increase at this stage, the video game business intelligence and consumer insight from Nico Partners believes a global price hike for the new system is likely on the way this year. It shared this in its latest predictions piece for 2026, which suggests Nintendo might even opt to discontinue the 449 SKU and only sell a 499 or higher priced bundle. This is a little blurb from their prediction piece. It says, "We believe the Switch 2 is also set to follow in Sony and Microsoft's footsteps with its own price hike driven by the impact from tariffs, increased memory costs, and broader macroeconomic conditions. Nintendo chose to maintain 449 entry price last year despite the introduction of tariffs impacting the production in China, Japan, and Vietnam. More recently, increased demand for AI data centers have pushed RAM and storage prices up. While we do anticipate Nintendo to increase the price of Switch 2, they may opt to discontinue the 449 SKU and only sell at 499 or higher bundle SKU instead." And you know when they the president was recently asked, and he just said, "I cannot comment on hypotheticals." So, let's see here. Cryptic said, "Makes sense. They're trying hard not to increase prices by increasing everyone around it. It seems stable, but now with RAM, it probably reached its breaking point." Yeah, that's very, very true. Um, the Steak said, "This would be when they throw in Welcome Tour like it's a pack-in game." There we go. That is funny. Well, and I say that, but part of me wonders if, like, to lighten this blow, why not throw some of these Switch 2 enhanced games in with this, if they have to raise the price, raise the value. Throw some digital Switch games in there. You're not talking about a huge loss at that point. But if people know they could play, Odyssey or Smash uh, or, Mario Kart 8 even, like, it seems like, you know, that could that could soften the blow a bit and just because if you're not buying the Mario Kart bundle, which is no more, right? You're dropping 500, like what, 510, 520 prior to uh, this this increase, right now. So if they have to bump it up to 500, sweeten the deal. Sweeten the deal. You know, you've got maybe some of those sports games. I don't know. Maybe throw some Metroid games in. Maybe do some different bundles, and like Cryptic said, do like an ambassador program for early adopters. I think the issue is that early adopters is um is there's so many right now. It's not even close. Like the DS was literally like failing. The 3DS was failing, right? So they had to do it. But um let's see. Follow Your Dream says, I feel bad about the current state of Nintendo, but a lot of it is on them as much as they want to blame external influences. Nintendo needs more accountability from their PR. This is coming from a super fan, by the way. Interesting. Uh yeah, what what aspect Follow Your Dreams do you are you do you feel bad about or you're not a huge fan of? Let me know. Video Master says they did it with a DS. Yes, exactly that. Michael, let's see. Michael said, before the Switch 2 was even announced, I said it should be 400. After they announced it, though, with the new features and everything, I was completely fine with the 450 price point. I even said it would be 500, and I play all consoles, so I just thought it would be fair. Yeah, it's it the price was honestly like I was shocked. At the same time, if it had been less, what 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 kind of third party support would we get? And would they be able to, would a lesser Switch be able to do what the Switch 2 is currently doing? And I mean, for me, the writing was on the walls. Like as soon as you start charging more, it you're gonna sell less. Like there's no I don't see there being any way around it. This may be the generation where they have to do a bit more sales. They got to get more aggressive. You know, maybe they can't like they've rarely put anything on sale right now. Rarely. And so maybe we'll finally start to see some of that stuff come about. And Steak is mentioning um that less than 10 days to buy your vouchers. Speaking of enhanced Switch 1 games. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So Follow Your Dream says, I think the biggest problem I have is that we aren't aware of any price increases in the games until well into the release date. The whole thing about charging for online, but banning fan made servers just comes off like greed for greed's sake. Interesting. Okay. Um, yeah, this and honestly, this is stuff that like I don't even like. I'm not even sure what these fan made servers are or anything like that. So, um, yeah, interesting, interesting. Michael says, if Mario Kart World being 80 that I thought wasn't fair, along with Welcome Tour not being packed in, and the high price of amiibo accessories and all that stuff, the Switch 2 itself was the only thing I thought was a fair price point. I got you. Yeah. $100 controllers is tough for me. I saw somebody post today that their Walmart was clearancing them out and they got three of them for $50 each. So that was kind of crazy. Check your local Walmart, I guess. Uh, $100 is tough for me as someone who always bought a ton for friend gatherings. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's it's I remember when I bought Jasmine one, we and she was just like, how much was this thing? Just kind of shocked. Um so it is crazy. It's crazy out there. I mean, I was like QVC, I was selling them through QVC on my TikTok shop, and you could get them down to like 60, $58, I think, or $68 compared to the regular retail price. I think some people got them maybe down to like 54 even. It just depended on what coupons you had. And so there were quite a few people taking advantage of those deals because we don't see those deals. And I mean, what do they go for? 89.99, and then the Joy-Con, the new one's coming out in February. It's $100 for two Joy-Cons. So um it yeah, it's all it's all pretty pricey. And I mean, I remember right off the bat, like, getting a blue and green Joy-Con or finding the green what was it? I think it was the pink and green Joy-Con. It was one of the first ones they released, and I was able to have a blue and green Joy-Con on my Switch 'cause I was rocking my Seahawks colors, right? And so now this the new one coming out, I'm like, "Oh, hey, I could do blue and green again and, and rock those colors again," but it's such a small it's such the tiniest little accent color, you know, to to see to really mix and match. So, I just don't know that I don't know that it's worth it. I'm curious I doubt it'll even come with a do you guys think it comes with a grip? I can't remember. And if it does, I wonder if the what the inside of those, what the inside rails will be if it even comes with a grip. Be interesting to see if it does. I really hope so at that price point, but who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So Steak said with PC handhelds more relevant. I was expecting Switch 2 to be 5 to 600 with no game was sold on it at 450. Yeah, there you go. So it was right in your what you were kind of expecting. I I like I expected like I think I expected the highest to be was 399 and that that just seemed to be kind of in that sweet spot of like where the you know where, like, it's a bit more than the OLED, what, like, $50 more than the OLED? That's kinda what I anticipated, and then, the family line of like, the Switch family line would be, you know, all relatively close together. So, it just, it, it was it was more than what I was anticipating, but, I'm loving the console, like, um having a great time with it. So, a great time with it. But, yeah, well, that is gonna do it for tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you so very much. We're gonna be back here, we're gonna keep shooting for 8 PM Eastern right now. I think that's just a kind of a sweet spot for everybody, and so that'll be, Monday through Friday, unless something changes. Fridays might be a bit up in the air depending on what I got going on, but at the very least, Monday through Thursday for sure. But I'm gonna shoot for some Fridays as well. So, appreciate all of you, and as always, you guys, play it loud.